Hey there, YouTubers! This is Quetzalcoatl, and you are watching the first episode of my game reviews. Today I will be reviewing Silent Hill: Shattered Memories. Harry Mason is your typical loving father. He has a great family and a daughter that loves him very much named Cheryl. At least it appears to be that way until he ends up in a car crash. When he wakes up, he finds out his daughter's missing, and for some reason he has no memory of anything other than that. So he goes off to search for his daughter, but he soon finds that the town that he lived in is now completely covered in snow, and it's still snowing. And to make matters worse, he's alone. Or at least at first he is. But after a while, he finds a few people living in the town, along with some other inhabitants that are not as pleasant. All the while, he'll discover many things about who he truly was and what his life was truly like. Will Harry find his daughter? Or will he be lost forever in this psychological frozen maze? Silent Hill: Shattered Memories was actually quite an enjoyable game. I mean, it took everything I knew about the original Silent Hill and turned it on its head. It gave a whole new reimagined story that I wouldn't expect. Now, as for gameplay, here's what I think about it. The interesting thing about the gameplay is that, first off, all they give you is just a flashlight and a cell phone. The Wii remote acts like the flashlight and the cell phone at the same time. And of course, it adds more realism to the cell phone feature by making you have to put the remote next to your ear in order to listen to who's on the phone. And plus, the flashlight adds a feeling of a little bit more realism in it. But of course, this is all they ever give you. No weapons, no way to defend yourself, no nothing. And when you meet the creatures, you have to run. That's the main focus here. You have to run and try to escape. There's no more fighting, no more killing the monsters. You just try to run away from them. Now, the most interesting thing about the gameplay is that it has a psychology system in it. The psychology system, at first, starts asking you a series of questions about yourself, and then it goes on to examine things like what you look at, where you walk, where you explore, what you do. And it takes that and decides which path you take, and what type of personality the people you run into will have, and, most importantly, what the monsters will look like. You see, what the game is trying to do is find out what your deepest, darkest fear is, and apply that to the monsters. As the psychology tests progress, the monsters will evolve and look more and more like what you would become to fear the most. And sometimes the psychology test can come up with some creepily accurate things from your life, depending on if you do things the right way. Like, for example, one time I was playing through this game, and all of a sudden, Harry Mason spouts out that he's a novelist. Which, to me, is kind of creepy, because I write stories. And I didn't even know how it knew that. Of course, I'm not sure what it's going to say about everybody else. And that's the unique thing about the psychology program. It doesn't make the game the same way as it does for each person. It's their own personal nightmare. And it's because of the psychology program that the story gets more and more interesting as you progress, causing it to appear to have many different twists and turns. And it also gives you a feeling that you won't even know who you'll meet up with next or what the monsters will look like after a while. Another interesting thing to note about the gameplay is that sometimes there are echoes around the area. And what I mean by echoes, I mean stuff that your cell phone picks up through static, and all of a sudden it picks up creepy messages. Or, if you use your camera in certain places, you can find pictures of people who are not really there. And the cell phone itself is one of your most useful tools within it. It lets you call people, keep a number of contacts, lets you use the camera to pick up different things, or if you want, you can just take a random picture of anything you want and save it to your gallery. And it also keeps a archive of all the messages you collect. Well, that's enough for the pros. Let me tell you about the cons. The cons are that, for one, the game is short. I think I was able to manage to finish it in about, I don't know, maybe a few days. And another con is that it tends to glitch once in a while. And when I mean it glitches like crazy. The first glitch I experienced was that one time I was checking a message for some sort of clue to a riddle in a puzzle. And when I got out of the cell phone, all of a sudden Harry's flashlight arm just started twitching. I moved the Wii remote left and right to try to make him look around, but it didn't do that. It just kept on twitching. This kept on going for a while. At first I thought it was something wrong with the remote, but the remote was working fine. So I found out it was just the game. I had to restart the system, or restart the game, so to say, in order for it to work again. Another glitch I experienced was that during one of the nightmare sequences, while running away from one of the monsters, I open a door and all of a sudden I'm in a black void and I'm falling into nothingness, and I'm looking up, seeing that I'm sinking down, and the type of area I was in was just rising. I was just falling. And it just kept on going this for a really, really, really long time, so I had to restart it then too. But despite that, I still enjoyed the game. And with that, my final verdict is that I give Silent Hill Shattered Memories a 4 out of 5.